just starting our presentation now. Thank you for joining me. What I'm going to do to show you now is first slide after lunch. Your stomach needs all your oxygen, I know. And maybe you go to sleep. Your brain may encounter a slowdown. Yeah? Hopefully, yes, everyone? So maybe you go to sleep. But I don't mind. Finally, I will talk to your subconsciousness. And this will even work better. Yeah? So go to sleep, I don't mind. Just to mention, because I know this is the hardest point for a presentation to do after lunch. Yeah? So, okay, that's it. Would you please, excuse me, switch the light down a little bit, that would be nice. So that's about my company. I think you can read that afterwards. The near of Munich. Yeah, entrepreneur since 1978. Very long time. I'm stone old yet, so but just I discovered Xojo. You are producing software for other customers, for your customers. That's what I assume here. You like to optimize your work like we do. Problem is you always do too much. You are working with databases. This is important. If you don't work with databases, you are wrong here. You are using existing code as a foundation. That's what everyone does. You copy a system which you already made, and you use it as a foundation for the next one. That's what we always do. Come on. This is the case. If this is the case, this presentation is for you. If not, thank you. My agenda. Introduction. I tell you something about templates. I explain velocity, whatever that is. I explain Telosys and make a demo. So show you the Germ with a demo. I will show you the Xojo templates, demo 3. I will show you the complete system, CAPP it's called. And I will explain embeds and variables with the demo 5. I hope I get through that, so don't mind, I'll be fast. And CAPP licenses and Q&A at the end. So I hope this was not more than 2 minutes, otherwise it wouldn't work. CAPP story. CAPP was called Computer Aided Program Production. That is a system I invented in 1984 with DOS and Clipper. I made that already in that time with DOS and Clipper. I still have it as a virtual machine. You can look at it. It's nice. Still running. Looked like this. See that? Old manual, stone old, yeah? Yellow already. I made a new one in 1988 with C for C and Pascal. Other box, nicer in red. So finally, it was regarded as a fake product by the customers. Why? Because you didn't have to do anything. You press a button, and you have text files specifying what you want, and you press a button, and it generates a Clipper code, and it compiles it and runs it. Yeah. Some customers I had said, okay, we use it, and they became my competition. Yeah? They used my stuff and against me. That was very nice. And it was a very limited marketplace because it was only in German and only in Germany, and with DOS, you can imagine, no internet, nothing, didn't work. Finally, it came out, it was a fail. So, but this issue with that software was still open, is still open now for 30 years or so. Yeah, and I think, okay, I renew it now. I make a small, hundreds of customers later. How we create applications, I have to tell you the Lego story. It's like putting Lego bricks together to build an application. It's always the same. You know it. Yeah? It's always the same stuff. The database, it's always the same. You always have a database. I do not have one application without the database. Don't know. Maybe, of course, if you make audio or video stuff, this may be not the case. But for me, every application has a database. And I have a huge effort for maintenance normally. Yeah? So, how do we develop software? We have a customer, we have a requirement. The requirement, of course, you file it somehow. You make a calculation, you make a mock-up or whatever, and if you have this, you go to the customer and say, okay, this will be the order. Get an order, you specify something, you produce something, and you deliver something. Yeah? This is what you do. This is a customer, female. Okay, the customer assigns it. That's always the way. It's always the thing. And now, if you have a customer who wants add-ons, who you work on with that, you go always through the cycle, always again and again and again. That is how we work. Yeah? There's no difference at all. Finally, you get your money, only if it's accepted. So, the rules of the game are, the more systems you already have made, the better your company will work. The more you have, the more you can do. The faster you are, the better you can make a mock-up, you can show something. Yeah? The more structure and systematics you use, the easier the adaptation will be. Yeah? Of course, if you have a clean structure for your systems, easy. And the more work is done inside the framework, the less work is left. The more you can take from what you have already, the less work is left, and you can make a better offer, you are better competition. Yeah? So these are the rules. Today, tools. I made a small research about tools. You can see here my tools. Clarion is what we mostly work with. Then we have WinDev, which is a French product. Then we have Visual Studio and Xojo. Xojo, I came to last year in October at Christian's conference. I saw that I was not clear about my decision. Will we do that or will we not? Finally, I decided, yes, I'll give it a try. And I said, okay, there are some lags in here. If you see here, ease of use, yeah? I would say it's medium, low, high, medium, so on. Database centric, no, not really. Two-way, yeah? Is it two-way? What is two-way? Two-way is you have a specification and you have the code. Two-way is I change the code and get it back to the specification. I change the specification, I get it back to the code. Strange, isn't it? Clarion does that. We have, maybe I have that other thing here. We have speed. Speed is a thing. Yeah. We have multi-platform, where Clarion is not. WinDev does everything, like Xojo does, with web and everything. Visual Studio, now okay. Meanwhile, maybe yes. Yeah. Then generator, something to be generated. Yes, yes, yes. And Xojo, no. Oh, that's bad, isn't it? And that is here now controllable. Controllable means am I able to manipulate the system, work with the system, program the system, and do something? Not really yet. Yeah. Visual Studio, yes, maybe. Yeah. WinDev, no, at all. So now I said, okay, what are we going to do now? I said, okay, the most important parts are these things here in the middle. And there are, as you can see, there are some stuff where Xojo is not so strong, that no in here, yeah. But you can do something against it. You see, I can put everything to yes if I put something on top of Xojo. That is what I did then. And I burn WinDev because WinDev is a real fake stuff. What I found out is I looked at the directory while it's generating its stuff, and I found out it's generating Java code, and I don't like Java. So. Proposed structure. What I did then is I say, okay, I want to have an application. The application is built from templates, your building blocks, your Lego stuff. Yeah. The templates can be built by Velocity. Velocity, I'll tell you later a bit more. And Velocity is controlled by Telosys, and Telosys is controlled by CAPP. This is the structure of the complete system which I'm presenting here. You see, CAPP uses Telosys, Telosys uses Velocity, Velocity uses templates, and templates generate applications. So how? You have a problem with the templates. You have to set up the templates somehow. For that purpose, I generated a Germ. Germ, I call it, it's because it's the first piece of a plant which is growing, which comes out of the earth, something like this. It doesn't have any leaves or something. It's just very simple. Yeah? So I programmed a Germ and use that for that templates. So, and backwards I can get, of course, the application can generate the Germ as an application backwards. I have to look for my time. Oh, come on. Okay. I think this is what we talk about now here. What is a template engine? You see here, this is the Wikipedia definition. Here's the link. Well, what is a template engine? Template engine is data, and it's a template, and both together give a result document. This result document can be a code, Xojo code, or can be HTML or a document as a doc file or whatever. This in general. It's not for a special purpose. It's general template engine. System requirements, for our case here, Java, development kit. Sorry for that. I don't like it, but Velocity doesn't work without it. MySQL server, MySQL Workbench if you need it, or if you have another tool that would fit. I always work for try with the Zakila demo database with data from MySQL and or any other test data in MySQL. CAPP Community Edition. CAPP is open source as in a community edition. Yeah, why that? I maybe have to explain a bit. I might say, okay, I want to make an open source because I want everyone to be able to use templates for generating its code. Problem is with open source, I cannot use, for example, the pdoc stuff. I would like to have the pdoc stuff in my list box. It won't work. I cannot make that open source. So I make one version open source with very simple, crude list box generating for the system, and the other side is the professional version, and which contains some plugins or tools which make it easier. So and then I'm using Xojo, saving transparent as Xojo project. Not as a binary, of course, because otherwise I'm not able to manipulate with the text. Apache Velocity, what is that? It is a project which is a preferred project. That means it's supported by Apache. And it's a Java project, very mature. It is stone old already. You see the both links down there. It's in good maintenance. And it's a template language with syntax highlighting. You find a lot of editors which are knowing Velocity code and using syntax highlighting for that. Quite interesting. And it has a so-called context. Context is the left part of the graph you saw in the beginning, which contains the data which is used to be merged into your templates. So Velocity syntax, very easy. Okay, I don't like it either. You have to use the brackets, you have to use the hash key, you have to use the dollar, and so on. This is a variable which you set, foo test. This is a comparison, is foo test or not? Yeah, yes. So what you see here is a complete command. This command ends in the way that you say, if foo equals test, then show yes, else no. If you interpret this line here, there will either be yes or no. Nothing else will be shown in this line. This is the command, and the output is already inside the line. Of course, you have to introduce yourself a little bit into Velocity. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. So some other stuff here. You see this here. I bought it as a second line because you see here blanks between the yes and the else and the no and the and so on. So if you do this in the real code, you will see that won't work because there are also blanks everywhere, or carriage returns, more lines, whatever. So if you work with that, you have to take care that you always use the shortest form you have. Yeah? So for each, it's quite nice. It loops around all entities all entities, for example, in database, over all fields, over all tables. Yeah? I'll show you a sample later. Include something. Of course, you can include a file and then include again, and so on. You can parse something. Parse means it's not included, it's interpreted again. You can, for example, create an output file, which is also a Velocity file, and you can then start it. And evaluate. You can evaluate an expression, and what's in there can be a command, and that is then executed. That's the advantage of a interpreted language. And a macro. So I don't want to tell too much about that. I think these are already all commands. There's not much more. There's only very simple stuff in there and very, very complicated things behind. Yeah? But this is, in general, the complete command set, not more. Okay, Velocity trade-offs. It's in Java. And then I say my two diseases I have, yeah, which is semicolophobia. I'm very afraid of semicolons. Yeah, so this is not a joke. You don't laugh about that. It's not a joke. You should not laugh about sick people. Yeah? And then I have the brachylogy. Yeah, this makes me red skin if I see brackets. So please. So I didn't like it very much. Yeah, I said okay. Debugging is difficult. Syntax is very sensitive. I don't like syntax which is case sensitive. Oh God. This is the case, yeah. And the required environment, of course, you have to use the Java environment, which is annoying anyhow. So it's in Java. Can do. Velocity artifacts. What parts are we working with? There are input files, which are also called context in different formats. It can be XML, it can be a text file, and so on. It's called context. That is what is used for filling into the template. You can use a direct SQL connection to nearly all common systems. That means now I prepared it for MySQL and a very narrow band, yeah, but you can use it for any database. There are drivers in Java which you can put in there if you use Java, and you can use any database. XML definitions as flat files, whatever you want, ASCII file, flat files, templates in the destination language, in this case in Xojo, template engine generating output codes, and result documents. That is what Velocity delivers. Telosys is the command line interface for Velocity. This is when Christian brought me on. I said, okay, Christian, how can I use Velocity inside Xojo? He said, okay, no, not a good idea. So take a command line. And so I looked for a command line. I built it in. It's that one, Telosys. It's also open source, like Velocity, like CAPP, also everything open source. Written also in Java. Okay, excuse me. Cannot be controlled via console window. Yeah, uses some tools to prepare the context. Offers lots of variables. Telosys is called for CAPP. I prepared everything in one block of code, in one installation pack. You can use it without knowing all that stuff. Demo 1, call a Telosys, set up home directory, show help, and set a context and generate sample code. Yeah? So I'll go. I have to leave that. You see here now, maybe I'll make it bigger. I see here, I call it up from. Now you see the command line interface from Telosys. You hopefully will not see that, but if you want to go into that, you can see that. It calls it up. You have to set the home directory in this case here. You see that now. It's putting now the home directory. You see a little bit more in that line here. Come on. Here, you see that more. And what you can do now here is you set, you can get help. Yeah, you can get a lot of wrong. Set home directory with show help. Okay. So you can see what it is, what is about. Here you see that where everything is located. And then you can generate something. I only just to show you because this is what CAPP does then automatically for you. You generate something, says okay. He says this is the environment what I just have. Do you want to launch the generation? Yes. It generates something. You see here now 4 files generated. I can write it to that. So that was the first demo. That was quick, wasn't it? Huh? And that's all live. I didn't prepare any videos for the demos because the Germ. It's not a joke. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with Germany. Huh? You know that maybe, hopefully. It's not a joke. It's a kind of small plant which is growing up to a template which grows up to applications. That's what it is. Yeah. So that means I have all the functionality in very small, compact form. And then I blow it up to the template, and then I blow the template up to the application, which is huge, which can be very huge. You will see that. I'll show that in a minute. You put the you generate the template, you generate the application, and then you use the application maybe to get back to the template, and use the templates to get back to the germ. So this is what I mean, two-way. You can go either direction. The germ, simple example code. Open source, with minimum redundancy, complete functionality, one instance for each desired function, only one entity for test purposes, pure Xojo code without any plugins, important. Demo 2. I'll show you now the germ. The germ is very simple. No. Germ. See here, this is the Xojo app stored as text file, yeah? And yeah, there are no plugins in there. It's complete netto Xojo without anything. That's important because otherwise I wouldn't be able to give it away. So now I run it. This now connects to a database, whatever. It shows a small window, and that small window here. I go there, make it bigger. Oop. Says now there are 3 tables in my system connected to MySQL. 3 tables: project table, names table, hours table. I go to the project table. You see each data type is in here for testing purposes. I say, okay, I have to take each data type. Yeah, of course. There are maybe 15 or so I support, and there are more which I don't support. So, but there are crazy things I found out. Okay, that's the system. That's the Germ. The Germ is used for producing the template. I wrote the Germ in Xojo and took the Xojo code and put it into my template directory and inserted velocity commands for using it for generating something. Okay. Go on. So this is very important for you. Otherwise, the templates won't work. And there are several templates which I created, prepared for Xojo. In this case, main VM is generates the main Xojo window. Code VM generates the Xojo code window, the code block in there. Resources, which is global VM, project VM, and so on. All that stuff which is needed as resources, and this is copied from the directory only to the destination directory. Menu for M uses a menu, that button stuff which you saw there, and the menu on the top is also generated. Table VM generates 1 table, a list box with content of the database, and then record for M generates 1 edit mask per entity. That means if you have 10 tables, you generate 10 list boxes and 10 screens for editing a record. And then we have a documentation. That's a goodie, we'll see. So, CAPP main screen. Calling CAPP, there are some controls everything. There are controls in for velocity, for Tilosys, and for the templates, and for the output. That means you only have that small window which you just saw. This one. You see here, one button is missing. Yeah? We'll come later to that. This now is the community edition, the look of the community edition. Then you have up there a wizard. The wizard is used to set up everything where it is. So CAPP is not a program which is located in the program directory of your Mac. It's for Mac only, but you have to put it somewhere, wherever, in the user directory, documents, or whatever you want. And to be able to set up everything properly, you use this wizard button. Shortly, click on the wizard and say yes. And you have a module list, which shows you all the modules which are in the system here. These are now 10 modules, and this here, what you see on the right side, is the output of the Tilosys command line of the velocity. You shouldn't take care about that. That's running. As you see here, if there's an error in, you would see it. And here, you see the numbers. Okay, this is the main structure there. Then we have directories. We have one directory where the database is located in. They have one, what is an input directory? That means that is where the stuff is which is used as an input for the template. And we have the template directory, which is control, and we have output directory, which is called out. This is the structure what we have, plus the binary. We have CAPP, and then we have in, control, out, binary. So module view. This here, you on the right side, you remember that was our template stuff. We have for each module in the system, we have this screen here, and you can put the context stuff in the first field. You can put the template in the second line here. You can put how it's generated. You use this one here, and the output goes here. That means here you enter what it comes from, where it goes to, and what is used. So demo 3, open CAPP, call wizard, show the windows. So now you will see. Okay, now this is the community edition. I have to go to the community edition now. Go here, output. You see your code here. See that? It's an Xojo app. I'm not interested in that anymore. I will delete that now. Yeah. because we can do it new. So first, environment. I don't bore you with that. This is an overview about what you can control. This is the application window where all the modules are in. And this here generates it. That's what you see now. It generates all the code now from the database in the community edition. Done. You see here I have a new generated application, which I never called before. Opening it up, let it run. You see it looks similar than the Germ, because Germ is the basis, foundation for that. See? Same thing. This is a database not opened, okay. That was a message I put in for. Hours table, just a test project. Yeah. So, did I forget anything? No. I put generate, I run it. Okay. That nasty thing is always coming in the way. So that was a generated, you just saw generating in a Xojo app. I didn't do anything more except pressing a button. Variables. I can, of course, have to control the way it's generated somehow. We use variables for that. We can assign variables to dedicated modules or to the complete system or to dedicated entities, whatever you want. You can put the variables in the CAPP, and the CAPP generates a file, a VM file, which is used, and this is then built in. Yeah? They can be set in the CAPP environment. They will appear as velocity variables automatically. That means if you put it in there, the syntax and the command for setting the variable in velocity is generated and put in the file. If you look at the module view, you see here a thing which is called embed. Embeds now, of course, if you generate a system, you have always specialities somewhere. Yeah? These specialities are handled by embeds. Embeds is a piece of code which is plain code, which you put at any place where you want into the generated code. And these are the variables in there, where I have the second arrow. Embeds. An embed is a code snippet placed where it's needed. Setting marks. You set where you want to have your embeds in the Germ or in the template. Getting embeds out of this, you get all embeds out of the assigned template. That means if you call up a template, you get a list out of all embeds which you have, and the templates are in the database from CAPP. Yeah, that means the code which is embedded is in the CAPP database. I'll show you in a minute. They are reused in case of regeneration. That means you make modifications, put them in the embed, and you generate, and all the stuff which is special to a module, you have separate. That means you have your complete scaffold, and you have very, very few lines of code which are special to a special module. Template change or modification causes orphans. That means if you change a template, you have a template, you have an embed in there which is called ABC, and the other template, the menu template, doesn't have ABC, then it says, okay, it's orphaned. The code is not lost, but it's orphaned. So now I'll do that. So for that purpose, now I call up the professional version. It's the other version. This one here. What's about my time? Bin ich in der Zeit? Übrig. Okay. So now you see here a loopback button. One interesting point is here. If I go here and I select one of those things here, you see now here's no embed in. Yeah? Let me see if there's someone here. Some of the tables, there should be embeds. You see here, these are embeds. Embed table after filling the list box, after setting fields, table opening window. Yeah, I can say here, okay, if I open a table window, I say I put a message box in here. Say okay, comment. Live coding. Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. So, table opening window. You see, I right there, message box XDC. So now maybe I have to tell you something else. Now again, if I look at that system stuff here, I can select in the connection the database and say I connect here to Zakila. So that is the connection you always have if you have something to do with databases. You have your login here, and you have the database. You name it there. Yeah. So I take Zakila because it has dozens of types. Yeah, and it's really a weird thing. Yeah. So now this is done, and I go to that go to my PE version, to the output directory. You see the output directory of my stuff is empty. Yeah. And if I now press generate, you'll see here how it's growing up with all that stuff. Hold on, I'm here. I see this, it is. This is the generated app now from the Zakila database. And of course, this takes some time in compiling in Xojo. You see all that here? It's completely generated. Nothing done manually. Okay, see that? Huge, isn't it? You have now a film table, for example. Select a film. You see here the size of the field is larger. I explain later why. It's everything generated completely. You go in here, you press enter, yeah, get a SQL feedback, whatever. And down here you see what's worked. Cannot add or update child now, yeah, because it was a view and not a record. So that's only for showing, for explaining what can be done with it. So we go on with that. So now we have 7 ways to control your code, which you get. Templates as a framework, of course. System parameters. That means the parameters which are all over the complete system. Module parameters for each module dedicated for that module. Module variables defined in a template. Field parameter, which come out from a database command. I'll show you that. And defined field attributes defined in a template. That means field attribute, for example, height or color or whatever. And embeds, which are defined in the template. So those are 7 ways to control that. Maybe it's a little bit hard now for you to get that, but at least you know, the goal is to get everything under control, without having to modify the template or having to modify the complete system structure. So now I have to tell the story from Baron Münchhausen. Baron Münchhausen was a guy who used a cannonball. He was in the war, and he used a cannonball to fly over the field to see how the enemy is located and where he is. Yeah? And he jumped from one cannonball to the other. Yeah? And after a time, he saw, okay, if I'm now going down with the cannonball, I'm in the enemy's area, so it's dangerous. So he jumped back on the cannonball, which they shoot back to his guys. He jumped on that and flew back. Okay. So why I'm telling you that? Because most interesting thing now is I'm doing something like Münchhausen did. I do it 2 times. I write something into a table, into a comment field of the database. You know, databases have always on the table level, or maybe also on the field level, comment fields. I use that comment field for putting commands in, which are used in the template. Yeah? It's a bit complicated because I have to interpret it. Yeah? If I write something wrong in there and it's interpreted wrong, it makes an error. But finally, I get my information from the database completely, 100% down to the template and down to the app, without any interference. So use it as a code, interpret the code as function. Use the function in the template and place it where it belongs, depending on the template. Second is, write an embed. So I told you I write an embed. I write the embed and put it over into the code. So I didn't show you how it worked. Generate the code and then modify the generated code in Xojo. There I can see, okay, I have a template, and if I modify the code, which is in the template, afterwards CAPP goes, picks it up and puts it in the embed database. That means that goes back again. That means you generate something, you work in Xojo, and you press a button in CAPP, you get all the modifications back netto without the rest of the skeleton. Yeah? Get back the embedded code in the CAPP database. So this is then 2 times Münchhausen in this case. So maybe you remember the name. You can look in Wikipedia. He did other strange things. Yeah. So demo 5, open database editor. Set a command field with a command. Yeah. So problem is now, of course, I already showed you what I did. Yeah. I use that MySQL thing here. No. Okay, that is really weird now. Film. Come on. You see here all the fields. You see the title field. Oh. And you see description field. And you can put a command in here. Maybe I shouldn't do that now. Okay, what I want to tell you is you can put a command in here, and you can take that over into the generated code. That means you finally have only one thing which contains your changing part of the application. It's the database. It's the database with all its tables and all its fields, and even parameters or variables which are in there, in that command field. And the other part of that, which is variable, are the embeds, which you can place anywhere. Maybe I'll show you that in the code. I always hear that stuff. For example, if you look at the templates, we make it a little bit bigger for you. You see here, those are all the templates. And so this is for documentation, this is for the menu, and there are 2 which are quite big, which is record and table. You see here, table. See, this is the complete code. You see here, for example, a piece of velocity code, which is used to evaluate the content of the database field. I can look for the embed. You see here an embed. Embed is only that hash embed and then the name of the embed. This is then looked after from CAPP in the database. And this here, for example, Z headings is the content. No, the content is between those 2 lines here, between this line and this line here. Of course, this is empty at the moment. So this is the way you get the data across, and yeah. What I should do, maybe I can change it to another database or whatever you want. And this button here picks up back the changes of the embeds into the database. Yeah. So I know it's a bit maybe strange. It's the first time I present it, so for that I beg you to forgive me for the a bit clumsy way forward here. Next time I'll prepare videos for that. That is what I learned at the beginning, but I think it's quite working. You can download it. I should go on with my presentation. Maybe there's some stuff in there about that. Come on. Ended up somehow. No. Really? I shouldn't do that, huh? Okay, demo 5. I have that community edition. It's open source in Xojo, runs under Apache license 2, contains velocity and toolboxes completely. That's completely built in there. Offers free and customizable templates for Xojo, and yeah, data is stored in an open SQLite file that you can also manipulate if you want. Yeah. Why open? I never ask why. No. How can CAPP evolve? Only with an open community and with its contribution. I know that, so I see that in a lot of projects, and I'd like to open that up for everybody. So I'm very curious about what's coming, who's asking what, and what will show up with that. It's only transparent and free. Only then it will evolve, yeah, and only open. And who will help? I hope everyone interested in improving efficiency in his own company, because you save money with that. That is the professional version, which I just called up. It knows all that stuff, which is a little bit more. And what will happen, I will improve the application view with all the steps in there, because this is, of course, basic list box functionality yet. Other licenses, I make the professional license and a business license with support. So you can look at my website for that. Wrap up. We have a database from the customer, maybe. Yeah. We generate 80 to 90% of the code. I can make a mock-up of a system in a few hours with that. Yeah. I'll only get, please give me a database. Give me a database dump. Tell your administrator to give me your database dump, and I'll work with that. And I'll bring up in a mock-up or a demo application in a few hours. We concentrate on the more important parts. That means only those parts which are to be changed are taken care of. We take care not to compromise the germ. That means if we have functionality, which we need everywhere, we manipulate the germ and produce a new template and use that. Yeah? We do not try to set something up which is needed everywhere in the application of the customer. Useless. Yeah? You spend the time twice then. We always work two-way. That means always back and forth. So we enable the unexpected experience to get the low-hanging fruits. Yeah? That means people who are not, that was the reason why I started with all that. I was in a Xojo forum and someone asked, I have my database, I want to have an application which runs. Yeah? And the answers were, no, you don't. You don't get it because you have to learn Xojo a lot. You have to learn a lot before you can do that. And I said, okay, would be nice to have it. We hope to lower Xojo's entry barrier with that. That would be nice to get a easy system, and which is quite reasonable to be used. How to get CAPP? Go to CAPP systems, go to try or buy, decide community versus professional. The professional version you can also use, you can download, you can run both or triple or fourth. As you can see, I just confused it. You can install it wherever you want. And there's a quick start on the website, which you can use. There's a voucher code if you want to buy the professional version, which is 50% until end of May. With an XDC 2019 Miami, yeah, but you get it anyhow. I think the presentation. Yeah, just do it. Download it. Use the wizard. Don't forget to run the wizard, please. Otherwise, it won't work. Press generate. Go to out. Open Xojo. Run it. Play with it. Repeat. It's very easy. I tried it out with a lot of databases already, and it worked. With one, I had just installed new. Sakila introduced a new type, yeah, which was, what was that? Geolocation? I never heard about it. They have now a type in MySQL which is called geolocation. I don't know. So I just put that into the template. So, and now I have to tell you my last thing is Einstein. Yeah, A is X plus Y plus Z. A is success, X is work, Y is play, and Z is keep your mouth shut. It's not a joke. That's what he did. Yeah? So, thank you for your attention. Questions?
Can we take a look at some of the code that you've generated?
Yeah, sure. The generated code?
Yeah, the generated code in Xojo.
Yeah, you can at least. It's the dump code from the germ. Yeah. Here, show you that. Come on. You mean this here, the generated stuff?
No, the stuff that is Xojo, the Xojo project.
The output.
Yeah.
The output. Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's stupid. Simple. The most I tried to make it as, you see, this is all. Oh, come on. See? Pick it up and try it out. It's quite very simple. I tried to reduce it to the minimum. That's it. This is all from the germ, from the template. You see, this is now, which one is it now? That is a table, yeah? If it's called table, I named it also only in a way that I find where it is. Say, okay, control directory, Telosys, templates, Xojo, and it's table. This one here. Come on. Okay, I have to enlarge it again. See this here, and this here is the stuff which is generated. You see always here, if field database type is a bit, then make column type 6, list box, checkbox, whatever. Yeah. So, and this is then all those hash lines are removed because they are velocity commands, and the other stuff here. This is the context, the field database type, size, and so on. It's the context, and yeah, whatever you change here will be in your Xojo code afterwards. Yeah? And this is used from the germ. I use the germ and say, okay, I put each field type in the germ, and then I look for the field type and say, if field type blah, then blah. If field type blah, then blah. So then this is the template, and then I use this template to produce in the code. It's a chain workflow. Most important point of that is not being curious about the code, and so you can change that. It's open, and you can use your code, whatever you do. The point is improving the workflow, getting more out of less work, using the stuff you already prepared, you already did. That's the point of it. Not being the best Xojo coder. I think think about it. I was just told in the beginning. I started up with the decision, use Xojo or not, in October last year. So I met Geoff, and it was very nice. I was curious about Xojo, and think, okay, I'll make a small project for that. And so why not that project here? Why not make a project which improves it? Yeah, because I'm not going to get money out of that, not yet. Maybe, yeah, maybe later on. Maybe it's interesting for something else, but. This is not what my intention in the beginning. Yeah. So learning Xojo, trying it out. So that's it. And I'm sure I'm not the professional germ or best coder for that database stuff. Sure not. But if you are, we should work together. Maybe we can do something for that. It's very easy. You can adapt it. You can download it. You can try it out. The complete CAPP Community Edition code is open source. That means the routine, the app you just saw here, you can compile it for yourself, you can change it, you can adapt it. Yeah? But I must admit, if I would do a real product out of that, I would replace that velocity stuff, or would at least try to get another wrapper around it, because it's has some trade-offs. Yeah? It's Java, you know. Come on. Do I have templates for web applications? Not yet, but it's a matter of half an hour if you want. You can sit together here, and we make a template for the web application in half an hour. So if you join me after this session, not a problem. Yeah, you can get any template for any language, also PHP. I have a complete set of PHP language templates. I can create out of that database with PHP a complete PHP application, besides Xojo. Or any other language, Java. So, any other question? So, Emma, time? Time's gone. Finish. Thank you very much for your attention.